All right, welcome. Today we're diving into something that honestly sits underneath almost every other crisis we talk about. It's a problem so fundamental that if we keep ignoring it, well, all our other efforts could be for nothing.
We spend so much time and energy focusing on huge, very real issues climate change, pollution, carbon emissions. But what if those are just the symptoms? What if the actual disease is something way simpler, way more physical, and something we've just been completely overlooking?
Take a look at this number 25. According to the source material we're looking at, this is the estimated number of years we have left before the actual physical hardware of the internet, we're talking cables, servers, chips, could start to systemically break down because we're running out of the stuff to make them.
Okay, so let's get into this because the why behind that number is terrifyingly simple. The potential collapse of our digital world isn't about some software bug or a massive cyber attack. Nope. It's about literally running out of the physical materials we need to build and maintain it. And believe me, that problem goes way, way beyond just the internet.
And this really gets to the heart of the problem. Our entire modern civilization, I mean everything from the phone in your hand to our so-called green energy solutions, is built on a foundation of materials that are finite. They're non-renewable, and we are just tearing through our planet's inheritance like there's no tomorrow.
Now, this is where it gets really interesting, because there's a huge irony here. The very technologies we are counting on to save us, to build a sustainable future, they are completely dependent on materials with ridiculously short expiration dates. We're talking maybe 16 years of silver for solar panels, maybe 30 years of lithium for batteries. We're trying to build a permanent solution on a temporary foundation.
And the digital world? We call it the cloud. It sounds so light and fluffy, but it is one of the heaviest things humanity has ever built. It's millions of tons of metal and silicone in massive server farms, all connected by over 1 million kilometers of undersea cables that, by the way, have to be replaced every 25 years. Every single part of the system is a cocktail of elements we are rapidly running out of. So here's the bottom line. While we are all busy arguing about carbon taxes and making our light bulbs more efficient, we're totally missing the fact that the shelves in our planetary pantry are going bare. Look, recycling is great, it helps, but it is not a magic solution. It takes a ton of energy and you never get 100% of the material back. The real problem isn't just our emissions, it's an issue of absolute physical scarcity. We are running out of stuff. So after all that doom and gloom, the source material pivots. It turns to a solution that is so wild, so audacious, it honestly sounds like it's straight out of science fiction. But the argument is that this might be the only real path forward. It's called elemental transmutation. Just think of it as high-tech alchemy, for real. The goal is to use incredibly advanced physics to take common, abundant elements, stuff we have plenty of like carbon or hydrogen, and literally transform them into the rare, critical elements we're about to run out of, like silver or lithium or cobalt. I mean, if it works, it's the key to a true post-scarcity world. But, and this is a huge but, as incredible as that sounds, there is a massive, almost cruel catch. The source material points out this fundamental paradox that puts us in a really desperate race against the clock.
And here it is, the transmutation paradox. It is the ultimate catch-22. To build the machines, the fusion reactors, the particle accelerators that can transmute elements, we need huge amounts of the very same super rare materials we're trying to create. It's like needing to use your very last match to build a factory that makes matches. If that match burns out before the factory's finished, it's game over.
And this table just lays it out perfectly. Every single path we can think of towards transmutation is blocked by its own needs. Fusion reactors, they need lithium to breed fuel, but we're running out of lithium. Particle accelerators, they need massive amounts of niobium titanium for their magnets. We are literally in a race to build the lifeboat using planks we are pulling from the sinking ship itself. So you'd think, right, with stakes this high, literally the future of civilization, this would be humanity's #1 priority, a global Apollo-level mission. Well, the reality of what we're actually doing is, frankly, it's shocking. So how much are we investing, globally, in dedicated transmutation research? Well, according to the source's estimates, it's about $200 million a year. That's it. And to put that number in perspective for you, that is 0.000002% of global GDP. It's not even a rounding error. It is statistical noise. We're investing virtually nothing to solve what could be the greatest long-term threat we have ever faced.
And it's not just the money, it's the brain power. The source estimates that at most, there are maybe 2,000 researchers working on this problem on the entire planet. A tiny, tiny fraction of the world's scientists are focused on the one thing that might prevent a total collapse.
So, faced with this insane gap between the problem and our response, the source doesn't just throw up its hands. It actually proposes a concrete plan to get the ball rolling, something called transpacts.
The idea is actually incredibly simple. What if just 1/8 of humanity, about 1 billion people, could be convinced to chip in just $1 a month? That's it, $1. That small act would create a dedicated independent research fund of $12 billion a year.
A move like that would change everything. I mean, look at this chart. It would increase our global investment in solving this problem by 60 times overnight. It would take this research from being some forgotten project in a university basement and turn it into a focused global priority. And this all leads us to the final stark choice that the source material basically lays at our feet. And it's a choice that really defines the entire future of civilization, of conflict, and of peace. The source brings up this famous quote from Einstein for a really important reason. The road to a future fought with sticks and stones isn't necessarily a nuclear apocalypse. It's resource collapse. It's the slow, painful breakdown of society as the very materials that hold it together just run out. And this gets to the source's main argument. At its absolute core, most human conflict comes from scarcity. When people's needs aren't met, societies break and wars start. And yet, the people who are supposed to be experts on this, economists, institutions like the UN, they seem to be totally ignoring the root physical problem. They're treating the symptoms, not the disease. And that leads to this powerful conclusion. Without transmutation, there can be no lasting peace. We will just keep fighting over the scraps until there are no scraps left. So we're left with this final question. The source presents a clear choice: transmute or collapse. We can keep pretending the physical foundation of our world is infinite and just drift towards that collapse, or we can make a conscious, collective choice to invest in a future of real abundance. Right now, our actions and our investments show which future we've chosen. The only question is, are we willing to change it?